All right, good afternoon, everybody. Sorry for the delay, but we are here and we are ready now. Again, want to welcome you all to another employment empowerment session, another one in the series, and I am looking forward to today's presentation. I hope you are as well. All right, and here to present to us today is Miss Shelley Gay Bignell Cuff, who is the Director of Career and Employment Services at Northern Caribbean University, otherwise known as NCU. And she'll be talking to us on the topic, what's your objective, career versus job? All right, and before going any further, I am just going to briefly introduce her, and the rest of the time here in the session will be hers, followed by questions and answers. All right, so without further ado, I'm just going to briefly introduce Mrs. Bignell-Koff, and the floor will be hers for the remainder of the session. So, Mrs. Shelley Gay Bignell-Koff is an educator with more than 10 years experience in education, having served as a teacher and a guidance counselor, and later as an adjunct lecturer at the tertiary level. As a graduate of Northern Caribbean University, she holds a bachelor's degree in education and a master's degree in counseling psychology. She is also a certified career coach, and as a career coach, she is very passionate about her service to young people, helping them to achieve their career ambitions and become the best version of themselves. Currently, Ms. Bignell-Koff is Director of Career and Employment Services at Northern Caribbean University. So without further ado, I am here to introduce to us our presenter for today, Ms. Shelley Gay Bignell-Koff.
Thank you so much, Mr. Francis. Really appreciate it. And good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share with you in this Your Employment Empowerment series. It's such an honor to participate in this initiative. And I hope that today you'll feel empowered, you'll feel satisfied as you prepare yourselves to launch into the world of work. Please forgive me for not being able to share with you my PowerPoint presentation today. I'm having some challenges in regards to it. I'm not sure why it keeps shutting down on me, but nonetheless, I know exactly what I'm about to share with you. Let's make this as engaging as possible. I welcome all your feedback. If you feel like you'd like to interrupt or you have something you'd like to share, just let me know by raising your hand or typing in the chat. I'll follow you. I'm seeing you right here. So let me begin by sharing with you a story. I hear it all the time. Well, not all the time, but I hear it frequently at church, and I just thought of it, and I think it would be really impactful if I shared this with you in light of what we'll be discussing today. So there was once an elderly carpenter. Let's call this carpenter Joe, Mr. Joe. And Mr. Joe was ready to retire. So he told his employer contractor of his plans to leave the house, and he would like to build and he would like to live a life of leisure with his wife and his extended family. He would certainly miss the paycheck, but he still needed to retire. Of course, when you get to a certain age, yeah, that's expected. They could get by, and the contractor was so sorry to see him go because he was such a good worker, one of the best. And he asked him, Joe, could you build just one more house for me as a personal favor? And the carpenter said yes. But in time, it was easy to see his heart was not in the work. You know why? Because he resorted to shoddy workmanship and he used inferior materials to build the house. It was a rather unfortunate end to his career. So when the carpenter finished his work and the builder came back to inspect the house, the carpenter handed him the front door key to the carpenter and said, you know what he said? This is your house. This is my gift to you. What a shock and what a shame. Because if he had known that he was building his own house, he would have done it so differently. Now, he had to live in a home that he did not build well at all. So it is with us, isn't it? Our house can be considered our lives, the life that we live. And we build our lives in a very kind of sometimes, if we're not planning, if we're not doing meaningful planning, in a very distorted way, where we are reacting rather than acting, we're willing to put up with less than the best. And at important points, we do not give the job the best effort. Then with a shock, we look at the situation like we've created and find that we have created and find that we are not living in the house. We are now living in this house that we have built, a house that does not meet our expectations. And if we had only realized what we were building, we would have done it differently. What is your objective? A job or a career? And I know oftentimes we use the two terms interchangeably, but there is a distinct difference. When we talk about a job, and talk to me in the chat if you will, what is a job? What is a job? What is a career? Well, a job is pretty much, and in simple terms, a job is something that you do to earn, right? It's more of a short-term goal or pursuit, and it usually does not require specialized skills, training, or college degrees. Yeah. It's a means to an end. So we use a job to help pay for college, to make extra money, to help pay for a bill, to help pay for bills. And we can also say that a job may eventually lead us into our career, right? So examples of jobs would be a cashier or a retail stock clerk, parking lot attendant. Those are jobs, means to an end, just means to an end. That's what a job is. A career, on the other hand, is what you consider a profession for which you are trained and you are undertaken by a permanent calling. It is a profession that tends to be more of a long-term goal or pursuit, and it requires training, it requires oftentimes a college degree, and people normally are motivated by personal satisfaction as well. So when we talk about career, we're talking about building during a lifetime. We're talking about doing something every day that excites you. We're talking about building a repertoire of your skills and your talents. And we're talking about something that will fit into your lifestyle. You're here today because you are building your career, and I'm so glad that you've shown up. What are some examples of careers? You're actually pursuing a career right now, granted that you're at UTech. So maybe you're becoming a lawyer. Examples of careers would include like being a nurse, an electrician, whatever it is that you're pursuing, an engineer. All of these are careers in that they take into account hard skills. So you're taught certain skills and you're acquiring academic qualifications as well. No, both have benefits. A job has a benefit and building a career also has benefits, right? What are the benefits of having a job? Well, you have the opportunity to earn money, and you also have the opportunity to learn soft skills. We won't take that for granted at all, which will benefit you in the future. So what are some examples of soft skills? These are your attributes. What are some soft skills you're likely to learn on the job? You'll learn teamwork, you learn communication, you learn how to be dependable, you learn how to develop a strong work ethic, and a lot more other things. And let us explore some benefits of a career. The benefits of a career far outweigh the benefits of a job, Because what are some of the key benefits of having occurred? Well, with a career, you're able to earn, you're having a higher earning potential, and you're having more opportunities for advancement. You're having a higher level of personal satisfaction and the feeling of self-worth and a sense of accomplishment. That is what you'll get when you build a career, right? The job is a starting point to earn money so that you can develop important skills. But keep in mind that you are pursuing a career. Careers are not at all easy to obtain. And they take a lot of planning, they take a lot of commitment, hard work, and sacrifice. But the benefits that you'll reap are priceless. You don't believe me? You ask some of the most successful people that we follow on social media. You can even, there may be some persons that live within your community. We're gonna talk a little bit more about networking as time goes by. So I'm encouraging you guys, if you have not yet started, even start now. Career planning. And what does career planning entail? The ability to look ahead and think about where you're going and what steps that you need to take. So I want you to ask yourself certain questions, because we're gonna be doing some self-assessments now. Self-assessments. Have you done self-assessments lately? That is something that we need to be doing all the time. So some questions that will come up from time to time are, what are your personal interests? What are your skills? What are the things that you're able to do well? What are your interests now? And I said no, because as you develop over time, your interests are likely to change. That's why career assessment is a process. It's ongoing because you're ever changing. What are you good at? What do people say you're good at? What do you enjoy? What is your personality? Those are things that you need to ask yourself. Career planning. What are my values? Oh, wow. What are my values? How will they affect my career? Do you know what values are? Values are the principles that you live by and the beliefs that are important to you. That's what your values are. Let's take a little look about. Let's explore that a little bit more, right? Your work values are actually the subset of your beliefs and ideas that are related to your profession. And these core principles are an important part of who you are. What you believe is an important part of who you are. So those things include like honesty, service to people, self-respect, respect for others, peace, success, just to name a few. So it's important for you to identify that what work values you cherish the most before you choose a career or decide whether to even accept a job. We need to identify our work values. So let us look at some examples of work values that you can add to your, let's say, your work value inventory then. So if you're somebody that believes in achievement, you're gonna want to do something in your career that yields results. If you're about independence, you'd want to pursue a career in which you're able to work and make decisions on your own. If recognition is something of importance to you and something that you value, then you'd want to do something in which you'll receive attention for your work, right? If you're about relationships, you're gonna perhaps want to work alongside people as well as helping other people. Support might be your thing. You're gonna have to do something in which you're able to acquire strong supportive management. If autonomy is your thing, you want to do something in such a way where you're receiving little to no supervision. If you're about helping others like me, that's something I value tremendously. Providing assistance to individuals and groups is what you'll do. If you're about job security, you want to enjoy, do something in which you'll enjoy high profitability, that you will remain employed and you will just find fulfilling in your years of service. If you're about helping society, you're going to want to do something that will enable you to contribute to the betterment of the world. And I can go on, you take. If you're about compensation, you want to make sure that you do something so strong, something that people want and people will come to you for, and you will be able to put a value that would be satisfactory to you, right? And the list goes on. What are your work values? Those are some things that you need to consider. We are talking about career planning. What is your objective? Is it just merely to work for a means to an end? Or is it for you to really make an impact wherever you're called to serve? That's the question today. What lifestyle interests me? How do I use my time? How do I use my energy? How do I use my resources? You're still on self-assessment, career planning. How do I want to live my life? Have I really envisioned that? Have I really considered that? Like some of us, I'm sure, will lie down in bed or sit across the table, sit at the table eating and be like, there's got to be more to life than how I'm envisioning it. No, how can I make a difference where I'm at with the resources that I have been given, with the resources that I have in front of me, human and non-human? Where do I see myself? How can I add value? What is the lifestyle I want to live? Those are questions you ask. What kind of work do I want to pursue? How much money would I like to make that will help me sustain the lifestyle that I want? Where would I like to work? And thank God for, let's say, thank God for COVID. This time has really forced us to realize that, listen, we don't have to be on a plane and we don't have to travel to necessarily make an impact. The world right now has become so much smaller. And we're seeing where we're able to use platforms like this. Right now, I'm communicating with you and I'm all the way in Mandeville. Not all the way, but you know, yeah. And I can be right here and you can be wherever you are and you can still be making an impact. Europe, Asia, the world has become so much smaller because of the limitations that we have. And that's a good thing. How are you going to take advantage of that? How will my personality affect my career choice? That is something I want us to consider for true, because let me tell you something. While talking about values and the importance of having work values, it's important to note that while those values play an essential role in our careers, we should not consider them in isolation. So we have to look at the other traits as well, such as our personality types, our interests, and our aptitudes. So I'm asking you today, how will your personality affect your career choice? And you know, your personality refers to a set of skills, not skills, but unique qualities rather, that make you different from other people. Are you confident? Are you dependable? Are you funny? Are you compassionate? What kind of person are you? What's your personality like? And there are so many free personality tests online that you can do, so you can be sure, you know, which is your dominant personality type. If not, you can always hit up Mr. Francis and check out what's happening at your career services, and they'll help you to get that done too. Or your perhaps you have a counseling center on campus. Take advantage of those opportunities as well, for you to get to know who you are some more and know what you have to offer. Self-assessment is key if your objective is to go on the road towards a career. Always research the possibilities. Network with people. Talk to people that have the careers that you are interested in. And I'm not just talking about following these people on social media and being in the shadows and just watching what they're doing. That's good and fine, but where is that taking you really? I'm talking about getting out of your comfort zone and talking with these people. Hi, let's say, one that comes to mind immediately. Let's say, Crystal Tomlinson for one. You may reach out to her and say, hi, Crystal, I'm really impressed by your work. I'm interested in this particular area, just as you are. And I'm just so happy about things that you've been doing. And I'd like to talk with you about the possibility of you mentoring me. And you give a brief bio of yourself and your contact information if you want to. But that's what I'm saying, reaching out to people on platforms like LinkedIn, right? Perhaps using Facebook as that as well, more than just for social reasons, but network. Get in touch with people Let them know you. It's not just you knowing them, they need to know you too. And you need to know how you're going to sell yourself once you have had a full understanding, a very good understanding. You're confident enough to express to express to them in a very compelling way who you are and the value that you want to add wherever you go. That is so important. That is so important. Learning yourself in such a way that you're able to express who you are and the nature of you to people. And when you build your career, that's the beauty about building a career. You're building experiences, and we're going to touch on that. You're building experiences, you're building relationships, right? And you're giving people, you're whetting their appetite about you. You want people to come to you because you have something to offer. You have something of value, and I'm stressing that, something of value, something worthy of. Yes, you. I tell my students all the time, don't take you for granted. Let me tell you something. You have 10 fingers, and on each finger, there is a different fingerprint. God never just make you and then clone and clone and clone, and he spent a lot of time on each person, everybody. Listen, there is something special, something unique about everybody. And there's something special and unique about you. And it is your responsibility to identify it. It is your responsibility to light that fire. It is your responsibility and obligation to tell the world and show the world who you are and to offer to them what God has put in you in adding value to this world. That is so important. Networking, you can't lose off of that. You want to also keep having models, role models is such a good thing. Who do you admire? Who do you admire? You know, and follow their story all the time. Think about it and also embrace yours too, right? Explore the internet. What are some other opportunities that are in line with what I want to pursue? I am all about helping people. What are some opportunities, ways in which I can earn that are in line with that or that align with that? I want you also to consider seriously that while you venture into your careers, your respective careers, you want to be involved in professional organizations. Yes, and you can start from this early. Identify them, international ones as well as local ones, but be a part of professional organizations. We are talking about building careers, and I know you can detect where I'm heading. I want you guys to think in a certain way. In this day and age, it's so important. Don't sell yourself short. Set career goals. So I want you to map out a plan for yourself. Map out a plan. Where do I see myself X time? These are the things I want to accomplish X time. You hear these people oftentimes talk about vision boards. I mean, you know, and all those other things. Those things are good and nice. And it's a good thing to have, mind you, it's a good thing to have. But you have to commit to your mind the things that you want to achieve and plan out a reasonable plan. Be smart about your planning. Within 5 years, I see myself being at this place. How am I going to get there? These are the steps I'm going to take. I'm going to take advantage of right at this point. If I can't find a stable job, at least I want to build on my experiences. I want to acquire as much experience as I possibly can that align with my career. So volunteering is something that I am going to consider seriously, putting myself out there, because that's also a networking strategy. Volunteering. I'm going to, while on the job, not just work to rule, but I want to do some training as well. I want to do what other persons are doing that I know are in line with where I want to be. I'm going to not just participate in the internship opportunities that come up for me, but I want to be deliberate while being in internship to add value, so that when I'm creating my resume, I have my quantitative, my qualitative accomplishments, my quantitative accomplishments rather. Make out a plan. Make out a plan. You cannot go wrong if you have a plan for yourself. So my question to you today is this: what do you want? Do you want a job or do you want a career? Do you want something short term, means to an end, or do you want something long term, something that you find satisfying and meaningful and feel as if you've lived a very fulfilling life? Are you reaching for low career growth, or are you striving for professional growth? Are you just wanting to collect money so that you can buy a car and just have extra cash in your pockets just to pay bills or just to maybe have fun? Or are you interested in collecting experience? Are you about doing the mere minimum, or do you want to go above and beyond? Do you want to leave work angry and sad and frustrated, or do you want to leave your work feeling happy and satisfied? Do you want to have tired Mondays, or do you want to have energetic Mondays? The ball is in your court today. The ball is in your court today. I'd like to share with you this video. I found it so compelling. It is actually, let me share that with you. And I hope you're able to hear it. Hold on 1 minute. It's an excerpt from one of Tyler Perry's motivation speeches he made to some students at a university in the United States. Yeah, I think this is it here. Okay, here we go.
I ended up homeless. I ended up out on the street with no money and nothing to my name. My intention was just to make enough money to be able to take care of my mother. That's all I wanted to do. That was my goal. I had written my first play. It was called I Know I've Been Changed. I put the show up, working, used car, bill collector, H&R Block tax return that wasn't quite right, but I got my money out of it. I thought 1,200 people would show up that weekend, but only 30 showed up. My car payment, rent, everything was tied up in this. But I knew that that is what I was supposed to be doing. I knew that I was on a good foundation. When I was growing up, my father was a carpenter. He would take me to work with him. And in the summertime, it was really hot, and I'd be out there with him, and he'd be building these houses. And the part that I hated most about this was when we had to put in the foundation. It was painstaking, digging these holes. Then you had to tie the steel, and after all that work was done, you just poured concrete over it. And here's the thing, nobody ever saw it. All that work was done and nobody ever saw it. No one ever cared about the foundation. The only time you hear someone talk about the foundation is when a house is falling apart. But when the foundation is done right, nobody mentions it. And when it's done right, it can carry the weight of anything that it was designed to hold. What you were building had to be strong enough to support the weight of whatever you could dream. And if you're like me, you are a huge dreamer. You had to have a foundation that is big enough and strong enough and bold enough to hold all of your dreams and handle them coming true. I need to warn you, it takes a while to build a dream. When you get out there in the world, I want you to remember something. What's in the well will come up in the bucket. So today I want to challenge you to know your intention as to why you do what you do. And I promise you, if your intention is right, you will be successful. But let me warn you what will happen when you're successful, because I don't want you to get out there and get caught off guard. At first, you're going to be celebrated. But when your success surpasses what your peers expect of you, then you will become a target. So now that you have set your intention, now that you have your foundation, let's talk about how to stay on course when the attacks come. As an artist, this is the art that I want to paint. Just as I will never do it, don't you ever change one brushstroke on your canvas because somebody doesn't like what you paint. You have the foundation. Know your intention. Know that it's not going to be easy, but just keep yourself on track. Know the value of what is already down in your well.
My takeaway from that, what's in the well will come up in the bucket. If you didn't put it in there, you can't get it out. Whatever you sow, that's what you're gonna reap. Another invaluable point that I got from him was, when the foundation is done right, it can carry the weight of anything it is desired to hold. What is your objective? Is it to just acquire a job, or is it for you to build a career? And that requires work, it requires commitment, it requires sacrifice, it requires you getting out of your comfortable space in an effort for you to add value wherever you go in this life. What is your objective? So as I close, I'd love for you to think of yourself as the carpenter. Remember the carpenter we spoke about earlier this at the beginning of the presentation? Think about your house. Think about your life. Each day you hammer a nail, you place a board, or you erect a wall. I implore you today to build wisely. It is the only life you will ever build. Even if you live it for only one day more, the day deserves to be lived graciously and with dignity. The plaque on the wall says, life is a do-it-yourself project. Your life tomorrow will be the result of your attitudes and the choices you make today. And I implore you today, make the right choice. What's your objective? Is it a job or a career? Thank you.
And thank you, Miss Bignalkov, for that very eye-opening, very profound, very sound advice that you have given us. You also pulled examples as well, which was really good, so that we could relate to some of the points that you have brought out and highlighted. So, Ms. Bignalkov, we want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come and to impart onto us your wisdom, your perspective, your expertise, and of course, sharing with us your own experiences, in dealing with young persons who are, say unsure or who may not have solid ideas about career versus job. So, Ms. Bignalkov, we want to thank you. And at this point now, the floor is open for questions, critiques, comments. So students, feel free to ask away. Don't be shy. All right. So if you don't want to talk, the chat is there. If you want to talk, unmute your mic and speak. All right. So the floor is now open for questions, comments, and this is pretty much it for us today.
No questions for me today? Okay. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Francis. Thank you for having extended this invitation. I'm really honored to have been here to share with you and your final year students today, guys. Thank you, Ronaldo. I wish for you all the best in your career pursuits. You're on the right track so far. You are receiving your tertiary education. Can't go wrong with that. It's an investment in yourself. Listen, Ria, thank you too. Keep on keeping on. The road is rough, but the world is yours for the taking. I'm here if you need me, Mr. Francis. Feel free to reach out to me. Thank you, Sariana. I hope I pronounced your name properly. I guess if there are no questions, thank you guys. Take care of yourselves and we'll keep in touch.
Thank you again, Ms. Cuff. Pleasure. And we will definitely be in touch. Thank you again.